Hi guys, thanks for joining this video. My name is Lori. I'm really glad that you're here. I want you to know that this in being in front of a camera is not my comfort zone. So understand that this video, the reason that it's here is that I just really think that the information that I'm about to share with you is can help a lot of people, like a lot of people. And so a couple people had asked me like over the last couple months, can you share this with my husband and tell him what you're doing? Or my sister was kind of interested in this too. Can you show her what you're doing? And I just realized, what if I just put something together really quick that people could show other people, like just to kind of keep it simple. And so I guess really what I want to tell you is first thing is I want to keep it short. So I'm going to kind of get right into it. I want to give you a little background on me and how this happened. So in March of this year, I am 56 years old. I live in Michigan, and my husband Danny and I own a couple of traditional businesses, but the one that really is the meat and potatoes of our income is it's an event planning business, catering and event planning, and it's done well. I mean, we're celebrating 30 years next year, so I was excited about that, and we're really proud of it. We love the hospitality industry. It's in my blood. And I love to like make people feel good and help people. However, when that happened in March 13th, when we got deemed non-essential and we had to shut down, we had to cancel like all of March and April's events. And that was really hard. It was hard for me. It was hard for the clients. There was a little part of me that really loved the idea of having a little time with my family kind of uninterrupted. And that hadn't happened in probably 30 years, honestly. A little selfish part of me that wanted that, but it was because I thought it would be a week or two, just like everybody else. Like nobody really thought that this would happen. And so when March and April turned into May and June and July, and we were canceling events and canceling events and canceling and postponing and rescheduling, and all of this was going on, it occurred to me that it wasn't the pandemic necessarily that woke me up. I guess it kind of was, but really what it was is I started to realize that it wouldn't even take anything as large as that, for us to, first of all, not have a great plan B. And secondly, to really change the way that income flows into our home. It could take something as simple as a broken leg. If my husband and I could not do or fulfill the duties that we're responsible for in our small business, it would change the way we make money. And I started to realize, like, what, Lori, I mean, you're in your 50s. You got to be doing better than this. And I got a little intimidated, I guess. I was like, what am I going to do? This is all I've known. And so in April, we kind of fell into a fun little e-commerce business by accident, making squirrel picnic tables, which has taken us down a fun path, a path of learning and education in the e-commerce space, something we've never done. So that's been fun, but it's not going to set us up for our future. So I think when you get to be my age, and this video really is for like the 40 and over crowd, we get a little intimidated about how quickly things are moving out there, and can we be a part of it? And the truth of the matter is we can. I didn't know that necessarily, back then, but I know it now. And so I wanted to share it. And so I started to have some conversations with my girlfriends, some of my closest friends, and these are conversations we wouldn't have had 2 or 3 years ago, to be very honest. In part, a couple reasons. At my age, or maybe even a little younger, we were taught to be pretty private about finances and incomes and even political parties. Like my parents never wanted to let us know, but just we were more private. We're more private than what the world is today. And then for me, it even was a little ego. Like I didn't want to admit that I didn't have it all figured out. And so what I realized, and this was super interesting, is that during these conversations, they were very open. And I think it's because right now people kind of feel connected by the same issues. And so it feels almost a little safer maybe to talk about these things because you don't feel alone in it. And so I loved hearing what they had to say, but what I really realized is they were me. Like they feel the exact same way. And I'm like, well, if it's them and it's me, it's got to be so many more. And so I thought to myself, I've got to do something. Like I want to do something, and I don't want fear or intimidation to stop me from doing it. So I had to figure it out. So what I did, make a long story short, is I started to figure out, how can I learn this, right? How can I learn to make my money work for me? So the very first thing I did is I started thinking back, and I'm like, I was taught this quadrant once. It's called the cash flow quadrant. I'm going to share my screen. I just want, most of you probably know it. Just want to kind of remind you of what it is. But it's really just the way people earn income. And I started thinking, well, I remember before when I saw it, I wish that I was on the right and I was always on the left, and I'm still on the left, but I'm moving right. 95% of the population lives on the left side of this quadrant. It's on the screen now, and I'm looking at 2 screens, so bear with me, but most people have a job, right? Which there's nothing wrong with that. This is no judgment. I think it's safe to say we can all agree that that landscape isn't all that loyal anymore, I guess. Like people don't have 40-year careers mostly anymore. So what happens after that, I don't know. There's me, the bottom left, self-employed. I'm there. It's provided a decent living for us, but it hasn't set me up for the future at all. And on the other side of it, on the right, which is where the wealth is, where wealthy people are, is the business owner who has a large business, lots of people doing things and working, and he's leveraging their time and skill and all that kind of stuff to make money. And then the investor, which is the part that I really wanted to get involved in. However, I always thought I couldn't do it, and so I'll take this down. I mean, there's just a quick reminder. I want to go from self-employed on the left to investor on the right. Okay. And my goal is not to be one of the top investors in the world. That's not going to happen. Let's be realistic. But my goal is to make my money work for me. And there's ways to do it. And I just didn't know what they were. So I thought, okay, well, how can I do it? And I thought about books, and which, interestingly enough, almost every single friend that I talked to had either bought or borrowed a book about investing recently, which meant that people are looking. They really are. They don't know where to go. And so there's that. And then I was like, no, that'd be like kind of like learning basketball from a book or something. That's not going to work for me. And then I thought, well, there's so many people out there selling programs, teaching programs, doing YouTube videos. And I started to look at that. A lot of some of those programs are super expensive. And I wasn't about to invest a big lump sum of money to find that I can't do it, and so that wasn't going to work. And also the YouTube people, I'm sure many of them are great. Don't get me wrong, but I got nervous that they were self-proclaimed. And so that didn't sit well. College, not an issue. I mean, I'm not going back to college. Banking system, personally, I have a little tiny aversion to the bigger banks, and I just know I'm not going to make a lot of money on my money there. That wasn't what I wanted. And then investment people. So this is another thing, 40 and over. Again, I'm talking to you guys. 40 and over, I think we've been taught to rely on investment firms to handle our investments and risk management for us. And when I started thinking about that, I was like, yeah, but this is the thing. I work really hard for my money. I don't have a ton of it to invest anyway. So do I want to let them assume that risk? And I was like, no, I don't want to do that. So that wasn't an issue. And then I started to think, well, like, what about the tech part of it? So there were all these things, right? And so what I did is I went online and I just started looking, and I started looking for a way online to leverage other people's knowledge, an academy, something, a school, something that I could take part in. And what I found after some digging was a thing called I Am Academy. It's an educational platform. It is the largest, most successful, most populated online financial platform in the world. So as soon as I found it, I started looking at all the pros and cons and that kind of thing. I was really like, I did my due diligence, and I talked to a couple of those friends, and I'm like, have you ever heard of this? And they were like, no. And it's funny because it's the largest one in the world. So I was like, that's it. Is people just don't know. That's all it is they just don't know. And so I'm like, well, that's why I'm here. So this is the deal, guys. The problems in our age group are this. Many of us are afraid of the tech. That wasn't necessarily me, but I know it's in our age group. And I want you to know that the things that this academy has done for me are these. It is so user friendly. You don't need to be any kind of computer expert or anything to leverage this learning. Truly, please do not let that stop you. It took the word, like the fear and the intimidation of these markets, out of my vocabulary. I do not feel afraid. The only reason now that I ever felt afraid was because I didn't understand it, but I understood it in no time at all. It gave me a sense of empowerment with my money and my future that I have never felt. And I'm only just learning. I'm only just beginning. It's new to me too. I don't know, 4 or 5 months in, but I learned more in those 4 or 5 months about money than I've ever learned in 56 years. I'm having so much fun. In fact, aside from the community part of this, which is a massive part, because I mean, people don't want to do this alone. It's scary, so, but aside from that, like even my girlfriends and I that do this together, like we do it together. We have like this kind of book club atmosphere, and it's really fun. And so all of those things really are what sold me on it. And so what I want to do is just show it to you. That's it. I want to show it to you. I want to show you the three main components of the actual academy itself, and then talk a tiny bit about what the community has done and how beneficial that is when you're learning, and then let you decide, you know, if it's something that you want to take part in. So I'm once again going to share my screen. Please bear with me with the tech part. Here we go. Where is it? Okay. All right, so guys, so when you go to your academy, you have your own login. It's just like online school, and I'm gonna go in and I'm going to put my credentials in. Actually, I guess I'm gonna show you David's, since we're gonna get right into his. All academies are the same. All the information is the same, so it doesn't really matter. His was already up. So here, there's three main parts of this academy that I think that most students take part in. There's lots of other parts, but you can learn anything you want. You can learn stocks, futures, crypto, Forex, currencies. It doesn't matter. Anything that you're interested in is in this academy, and you choose. You can choose what you want to learn. And so the very first part and the most important part, I think, getting started are the academies themselves. And these are pre-recorded sessions. Okay, so it's like the prereqs to actually getting started in investing. Lots of different languages, etc. But when you go in here, you can see, I'm going to scroll through it for you, that there's like a 100 series, a 200 series, and the 1 in 200 series really is all that somebody like me would need to know, truly. When you get into 3 and 4, you can kind of consider that like college. But somebody who's starting part-time, who just wants to know a little bit, 1 in 200 series will do it for you. And just to give you kind of a bar, understand that you can get through both of these series, 1 in 200, in a 3-hour sitting. Okay, so you can do it in 3 hours or 3 weeks. It doesn't matter, but you're going to have everything you need to know as a basis right there, and it's always there. And as new stuff comes to the table, they add to these pre-recorded sessions. The next big part is the go live. This is probably the part that I've learned by far the most from, and it's the part that I leverage the most for a couple reasons. The first thing is first of all, this company, it's been around 7 years. It's in 200 countries. Okay, so there's so many languages. I'll just give you a peek. But I mean, people all over the world are coming here to learn this information. There are over 200 vetted experts that are employed by AM to educate. And what I like about that is that we're trading alongside them. We're looking at charts live with them. It's like your own personal professor or mentor. And you're going to find which style of teaching and stuff that you like. There's no question that these guys, they know their stuff. I have my favorites, all kinds of things. So what I want to show you though is that when you go in here, oh crap, I'm sorry guys. I wish I could figure out this computer. Oh, I'm sorry, here you go. So when you go in here, right, you choose where you want to go. We'll go to Forex. This is where I'm mostly spending my time in my learning. And you see this like Netflix channel of trainers, of educators that get on with you. You get on with them for an hour session in anything that you want to learn. So here's all the basic educators, all the times that they're on. Our advanced educators, right? Which here's all the times that they are training and trading and helping people learn. And then live analysis, which is live analysis of charts, which has been bar none so fun to watch. And so this puts a professor in your pocket, okay? And the cool part about this is that these guys, everything that they're doing is also recorded. So if you miss a session, you just come down to the recording and you click them on. When you look here, when you look at like Kimberly, this weekly view, 101,000 weekly views. 101,000 people watched her this week, okay? That says something. And so this is really, really huge. And then the next part that I want to show you is really our harmonic scanner. And guys, this is important because I think a lot of the reason why people are a little bit afraid of these spaces is that they think it's going to take a really long time to learn it. And so let me just take you in and show you something. And please, when I first saw this, I was like, whoa, like, I don't know. But I want you to know it took me an hour, probably an hour, to be able to figure out what this meant. Down here in strategies is this thing called the harmonic scanner. And the owner of this company spent a lot of time working on Wall Street, made a ton of money. And he basically was able to condense all of his knowledge and start this platform. And thank God he did. But what he did is he put together a scanner, which actually helps you see and spot setups. And so again, this is super scary if you don't know what it is, but as soon as you do, you're like, that's not scary at all. So if you can see, you know, there are ways to enter. They give you ideas of where you should stop your loss, where you can take your profits, etc. So you're not figuring this stuff out on your own. And so just so you guys know, I mean, the Academy itself is the best on the planet. There's no question. You cannot do better. And it's affordable, it's fun, it's easy. And so basically the very last part of it for me was the community. Okay, so I always assumed that people that traded or kind of got involved in these spaces sat in front of a computer all day in the dark and watched charts. And that's not what this is at all. That's not at all what it is. However, that's kind of isolating, right? And so what this has is so many different communities that are really wrapped around whatever learning you are, that are learning with you, trading with you, sharing their successes, sharing their knowledge, just helping, just being a part of your experience. And thousands and thousands and thousands of people are taking part. So I've made a ton of new friends. It's just, I think that in this space, you don't want to feel alone. You know, you want to feel like you're part of something that other people also are taking part in and enjoying and finding success with. And that's what you're going to find here. And so, you know, really, that's it. Most of what this is really is a way for you to take a peek at this yourself. And so just to give you an example, most people, there's a couple other parts to it that I won't even get into here, but most people at least want to learn something in this space. And so if that's the case, you can't go wrong here. So the Academy itself is really inexpensive. It's like $175 a month. I don't know, for 45 bucks a week, so something like that, 46 bucks a week. And I've gotten way more education than I've spent. And I'm also in profit in trading. And so that's been good. The second thing is that there is a referral program. People take part in it. Some people don't. It doesn't matter. It's just like every other company on the planet, right? You tell a couple people about it who take advantage and you get a scholarship, and now you're not paying. So if you refer two people to the Academy, you won't be paying your $175 tuition every single month. And then there's another whole entirely site that is completely optional, and it's not even something I want to get into, but for those of you that understand networking and understand the value of this platform and do want to share it with more than two, you can also create a commissioned income. Okay, so like, you know, overrides on people that you bring to the platform or share the platform with. So you can create a network, right, of people that are doing this, and they can share it and it can become more. So that's totally up to you, and it's totally optional. Really, the idea behind this video was really to show you what is available. So you're either a 1 or 2 or a 3. A 1 just wants to learn and take part of the Academy, and please, I welcome you. I welcome you to do that. If you want to be involved in like the Women's Book Club part of it, just get a hold of me. All of that. I just really think this can help. Number 2 is you want to learn for free, right? Just share it with 2 other people that you think you might want to be doing this with, or who might want to take part. And learn and earn is obviously the building side of it. And if you have any questions on that, I can help you. So I hope that cleared it up. I don't know, maybe it did, maybe it didn't, but at least it's hopefully a good start. And so just get back with whoever shared this video with you and let them know if you want to know more. And I'm more than happy to jump on the phone and answer questions. So thanks again for joining in, and I hope you have a fabulous day. Take care, guys. Bye.